Morning, everybody. Most of you have seen a previous presentation about the patient registry, and today is going to be a little different. I'm not going to go through the screenshots. I'm going to show you what we can do with the patient registry and how the records are distributed in our database. So a little summary, patient registry started on late 2000. Norman started sharing information about clinical trials for Gleevec online, and that's how he started collecting this information about different patients. He started in an Excel spreadsheet, and time passed by, and he felt the need to do a bigger database so we can collect more information. So we have been going through different versions of the database, and you will see in a moment that now we have a version online. So it started on an Excel spreadsheet, then went to a Microsoft Access database. Then we had a new release, a bigger database in Microsoft Access. Then the back end of the database was changed to SQL Server. And now we have an online version that we're about to launch. And what we do with the information in the patient registry? Well, first, we collect information about diagnosis, evaluations, treatments, and we do analysis. We compare based on the different standards out there, based on the different clinical trials. We could see how patients are doing. We could see what different evaluations they are going through, what different treatments they are taking. We could compare in a specific group based on different criteria. We could see all the patients who are taking 400 milligrams or all the patients in a specific mutation. So all that data and all those analyses help you, so we can give you some information back. And we also use this information to monitor and see different patterns or trends that could help us identify things that are working in a faster way than a traditional clinical trial, which usually take a couple of years to do it. So we can get that information on hand to transfer it to you. Besides that, we recently launched a GIS Collaborative Tissue Bank, and with that program, we can help researchers also compare the analysis they do with the clinical history. Obviously, all the information that we share or we present is de-identified to comply with privacy. So nobody's looking into your personal information. They are looking into data that is not linked to your name. And with the tissue bank, they could look into the tissue and they could also compare or see your clinical history. So if you decide to participate in the patient registry and you decide to volunteer your information, you're helping us out to get closer to find the cure, because with that, we're helping the researchers to see clinical history. So for some of you that haven't seen the screenshot of the database, this is how it looks. We try to collect as much information as we can so we can do accurate analysis. We try to collect as much as we can. So I encourage you to provide updates. Remember, all this information is information that you decide or you volunteer to provide to us. And it's critical because small details can help us out to generate better reports. If you know the specifics, if you have any comment, every time that you go for an evaluation and you talk to any of us or you send an email or fill out a form online, try to describe as best as you can all the small details, because that helps us out to classify better all the records that we have. And if you have any question, don't hesitate anytime, any moment to call us. We are more than happy to help you all day long. We have a web form that is available all day long. And in business hours, we can call and we can talk to you. So anytime that you have any question, please don't hesitate to call us. This is a big help. This is helping us out. This is helping you out. We're trying to find the cure together. So as you could see, this is another screenshot, and we could have all the evaluations in a chronological order, and we could see details, and all that is being collected. And we have patients that are very, very responsive, that they are giving us update on time, but we also have some patients that don't. So please try to keep your record up to date, because it's going to be for your own benefit as well. Okay, few questions about the patient registry. Why to join? Because you could use this as a tool for your own personal record keeping. Uh, those are some of the benefits. Any given moment that you need to go to a new institution, you can request from us something that we call the Gstory. Gstory is a report that shows all your GIS history. So if you go to another institution, instead of you remembering every single detail, you can take this report with you and show everything that you have been going through, all the different evaluations, all the different treatments, and all the different comments. How to join? You could either call us, you could talk to any member of the staff, you could go to our website. There are forms online that describe all the information. And if you need somebody to call you and provide you details, more details about the patient registry, we do that as well. So you can go online, fill out the form with your contact information, and request somebody to contact you later so we can explain in more details how this works. Privacy, as I said before, only few people go to your record, only few people has access to your record. All the analysis that we do is we de-identify information, so we don't see your name. What we see is just a number that identifies the record. And any time that we have to provide a report or we do an analysis that is being shared outside, it's not going with any name, so it's only IDs. Where, as I said before, you could go to our website, you could call us, or you could talk to any of us. When can you do this? I suggest you to do it as soon as possible, because that way, in one single effort, we're all trying to find a cure. We create what we call a patient registry timeline, and it's available online. We will have a technology presentation in a moment in which we're going to talk more about the website. But this feature, you could access any moment, and you could see all the different analyses that we have done from the data that is in the patient registry. So you could see how valuable it is. There are many articles that has been written based on the information that we have in the database. So you could go through the time, and you could see how it has been changing. And if we do an analysis now, we usually update it every year, so we could see how things are changing, how is the behavior, how is the responsiveness. So all that you could see it online. Let me see if I can have access online. Just for you to have an idea how this works. It started on year 2000, the release of the first version. You could keep going, and you could see different articles that has been generated based on the information that we have in the patient registry at that moment. And throughout the year, we have been updating the same information or providing new analysis. And you will have a link directly to that particular article. You could go back on time and see a newsletter from 2001 or 2004 or 2003 and see relevant information. And as I said, this tool is available in our new website, and it has a lot of information that you could see how hard we have been utilizing your information to generate all this data that has been helping a lot of patients. When did we release a new version? When did we release a new pamphlet about the patient registry? When did we create a website? So all that you could see how all this patient registry has been evolving over time. So you could see when the GIS Collaborative Tissue Bank start, the official launch, any article, you could click on that, and it's going to take you specifically in our website where is that article, or you could have a printout of a specific newsletter. Okay, let's go back to the presentation. I'm going to now show you few statistics, but it's going to be a descriptive statistics of our patient registry. And let me do a clarification. It's going to reflect the type of records that we currently have. And it's not by any means an estimate of the population, because our data has some bias. And we could say that probably people have told us that probably the records that we have are because most of the patients that are in the patient registry are internet savvy. That's how they found to us. Or probably they could say that people who were not doing that well, they have a tendency to register into your database. So, but at least all this can give us a reference point. So this is going to describe all the different records that we currently have in the patient registry. For example, we could say that among all the records, we currently have around 1,500 records, and And it's basically equally distributed, 50 in regards to gender, 50% and 50%, about that. We could see that we have patients from United States and out of the United States. Let me show you, around 75% of our records are coming from the United States, and about 25% are coming from other countries. Let me go back one. And from the records that are coming from the United States are mostly females. From the records that are coming from outside are mostly males. So, but this is a distribution. I don't want to do any inference or any hypothesis. I'm going to just describe how the records are distributed in our patient registry. We could classify records by the age at diagnosis point. Between 5 years to 18 years, we have 2.13%. Between 18 to 35, we have almost 10%. And after 35 years, we have 88%. So this is giving us an idea how the distribution by age at diagnosis is. And now we could see a crosstab between gender and the age at diagnosis. So between the range or the category between 5 to 18 years, we see that we have more females. It's a small group, but it's mostly females. Between 18 and 35, the same thing happened. It's mostly females. And we could consider these two groups being, most of them, pediatric GIST. And there is a tendency that females are mostly pediatric GIST in this age category. And now we have 35 plus, and we have mostly males. You could see the green bar a little higher than the blue bar. Now let's see a distribution based on primary tumor location in our database. 41% of the records has a primary tumor location as an stomach. 36% has a small intestine. Colon and rectum, I didn't include that, is 4.5%. And other locations, different other locations with a small percentage, with a total of 17.58%. And that includes different organs, but the percentage was smaller than 5%. Now we have, we took all the records in the database and classified by the different number of medication treatments. And the first category over here, it says 0 to 3, is open parentheses, but it actually reflects all the patients who has been taking 1, 2, or 3 different medications. 1, 2, or 3. The second group, the green group, it says patient who has been taking more than 3, so 4 and above. And we have that between 1, 2, or 3 different medications, we have 78% of the records in the database. More or at least 4 different medication treatments, we have 13%. Sorry, 8.39%. And patients who have been taking any medication at all, 13%. Yes. Yes, well, let me tell you this. I'm going to go through all the slides, and if you have any question, I will be more than happy to answer those. And there will be some that I have to generate a different graphic, but yes, we have a question for all of them. And if we can get to all the questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to explain any question that you may have. Because obviously, all these graphics could generate more questions, and to give you a proper answer, I have to analyze it. And we have all the data, so there is not a problem for us to generate any graphic that could answer your question. Let's see now distribution in regards to tumor type at diagnosis. We have single tumor, multifocal, or MET. In our database, we have 71% of the records that has a single tumor at diagnosis, that reported as a single tumor at diagnosis. 3.46 reported a multifocal tumor at diagnosis, and 25% reported meta-diagnosis. Now, this we could also say that probably most of the people who got in touch with the LRG and decided to participate because probably they find that they had meta-diagnosis, so it could be a bias over here in our data too. Let's see the distribution based on primary tumor mutation. We have in our records the ones that has provided to us a mutational test result. We have 62% who are exon 11, 12.2 who are exon 9, 7.3 who are PDGFRA, and 18.09 wild type and SDH. Those are from the records who has reported mutational test. And if you could see on the table, between 1,500 records, only almost 500 records has reported a primary tumor mutation. So if you don't know your mutation, if you haven't done a mutational test, I encourage you to participate in the GIST Collaborative Tissue Bank, and this is going to make a big impact on your treatment and to know your genotype. If you have any questions, we're going to go through the tissue bank in a moment briefly, but if you have any question after the session, you could talk to my colleague Magdalena Sarnes, who will be more than happy to provide you more details. This is a pie chart that shows us the frequencies of the misdiagnosed GIST. Between all the records, we have 85.95% who were diagnosed directly with GIST, and we have 14.05% of people, patients who were misdiagnosed. This is just to have a reference point. July 2000 was when the imatinib era started, and we have patients 7.71 that has GIST before that date, and 92.29 who were diagnosed after July 2000. If we combine with this chart, what I was trying to show you is all the people who didn't have met a diagnosis. And we have a 71% of patients who joined the patient registry and didn't have met a diagnosis. And the reason why I was doing that is because it's coming another chart. From those 71% that didn't have met a diagnosis, we have 54% who developed METs later, and we have 45% that didn't develop METs. Okay? We classify also the primary tumor by size. We have a table in which we could identify what we consider a small or medium or large tumor, and the distribution of our patients are 46.9% reported large tumor diagnosis, primary tumor, 34.51 reported medium-sized tumor, and 18.59 reported a small-sized tumor at diagnosis. People who has been taking neoadjuvant treatment, who has reported to us that they has been taking, remember, all this information we're able to report based on the information that you provide to us. And we also, as I mentioned before, we have the report that we call Gstory. And every month, or whenever you are due for an update, we mail that out, we email that Gstory. So that's giving you an opportunity to review your GIST history. And you could see if we are missing any information, or if we have any information that is wrong. And that's giving us an opportunity to both of us to correct your record. So you have to try to maintain the record with as many details as you can and verify your information every time that you request or you have a Gstory report. This pie chart is going to show from all the patients who reported no meta diagnosis, we want to see how many of them has taken Gleevec, has taken adjuvant Gleevec. Now, we could say that 56.68% didn't take adjuvant Gleevec, but it could be some of those cases that maybe wasn't available at that moment. Because as you saw in a previous chart, we have some patients that were diagnosed before imatinib era. Now, let me show you a survival curve, but this is a recurrence-free survival curve on, classified by gender. We have two in there. We have female, who's the blue line, and males, who's the green line. Now, what this is telling us that a patient before they have a new progression, a new recurrence, is going to take for females an average, a median of 4.4 years, and for males, 3.3 years. Now remember, this is just an estimate based on the information that we have in the patient registry. You could be anywhere in this line. You could be probably in one extreme or the other. It could be probably that you are recurrence-free for 10 years, or it could be that you are recurrence-free for 2 years. So it all depends on different factors. And in this particular curve, we could say, because we have been seeing our data, we have a lot of pediatric patients, and most of those pediatric patients are females in our database. So that probably is a reason that is increasing the median of the recurrence-free survival for females. So, and this is statistically significant. We have a p-value, as you could see, less than 0.001. So for females, recurrence-free survival, 4.4 years. For male, 3.3 years. And I repeat, this is based on the information that we currently have. And you could be anywhere in that line. And it also depends on different factors. Overall survival by gender, same thing. We have females with a blue line and males with a green line. And we have a median of, for females, of 14.5 years, and for males, for 10.2 years. And I don't want to go too much deep in this, but if you have any question after the presentation, I'll be more than happy to assist you. And you could be anywhere in this line. You could be probably 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. It all depends on different factors. This is just reflecting an estimate of the information that we currently have in the database. Okay, some factors that are affecting survival. We could see that gender, female do better than males. But repeat, it could be based on different factors, and there are different cases. This doesn't directly reflect your case. This is just an average of all the cases that we currently have in the database. Age, pediatric type G patients do better than adults. Status, meta-diagnosis or no meta-diagnosis, or people who has recurrence or metastasis, that's also a factor that affects overall survival. Genotype, mutational testing, that's why I encourage you to know your mutation, to participate in the tissue bank. And actual dose. So that portion of the presentation was to give you few examples of all the information that we can generate from the patient registry. And this is only descriptive. So it describes the distribution of the records that we currently have. Now, we could do a little bit more, and we help research, and that's why this is a critical point to help us find the cure. If we have more records, if we have up-to-date records, if we have consistent records, help us to do an accurate analysis, and we can share that with researchers, and they could see clinical history that could help us find a cure as well. Now let me talk a little bit about the GIS Collaborative Tissue Bank. And as you saw previously in the timeline, and if you saw previously in the timeline, you could see when this started, when did we reach 50 patients and 100 patients, and I'm going to give you a report on how many patients we currently have. And the process is, there are different steps. I'm going to go quickly through this, but if you have any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer those. It goes from the LRG. Once you decide to participate, you call us, you go to our website, we provide you all the information, we give you all the forms that you need to fill out, we help you in some cases to talk to your hospital to get the tissue released. The tissue is being sent to us. We de-identify the tissue. We send it to HSU. OHSU does the mutational test analysis. The results are sent back to us and also to your doctor, so your doctor can discuss it with you. And then the tissue goes to Stanford University. Let me show you this other slide that could help you see how the flow of the tissue goes. So we have the tissue coming out from the hospital. It goes to the LRG. In the LRG, we de-identified information. It goes to HSU. From HSU, goes to Stanford. They have a tissue repository site, and they share that tissue with different researchers, so they could do multiple analyses. Now from HSU, they send us the results back to us so we can update your record. We know what is your genotype. And also they send it to your doctor, and your doctor actually discusses it with you. And if you do this through the LRG, we help you all the way and provide all the explanation, all the information. And this could help your doctor to discuss your treatment. Now, this is the different steps, the different stages that we call, different locations. We have some tissues that has been sent back to the hospital, initiated. That's what we call all those patients that has contacted us, and we have provided information. So we initiated the process, but we haven't received the tissue yet. We have initiated. That means that we send you the package, or we have been talking, and we are expecting you to actually send us the tissue. In progress are those patients who actually has decided to participate, and they actually confirm that they have sent the tissue to us, and we're just expecting to physically receive the tissue in our office. LRG office, that's another location to see if we are holding any tissue on our office, which we don't. As soon as we receive the tissue, we process the tissue, we de-identify and ship it out to HSU. OHSU, where they do the mutational test analysis, and Stanford, where they do the research analysis. So currently in our database, in regards to tissues, we have 8 tissues that has been sent back to the hospital, 88 that has been initiated. That means we have been talking to them, and we have provided all the information. 6 of them confirmed that they have sent the tissue, we're expecting to receive it. 0 are at LRG office. As I said, we don't hold the tissue, we process them as we get them. 85 are in OHSU. They are doing the mutational test. We will receive the results soon. And 237 tissues are already in Stanford. So in the whole chain of this process, we can count 424 tissues. Now, in regards to patients, 7 patients that participated, those tissues were sent back to the hospital. 86 patients are being initiated. 6 are in progress. 31 are in OHSU. And a total of 114 patients are in Stanford. What is the difference? Some patients a volunteer has decided to donate multiple tissues. So that's why the count is a little different. So a total of 244 patients are participating currently in our tissue bank.